Hi, everyone. We have a big agenda today, so I think we'll get started right around 11. Mary, what do you think?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome back to the new season of Maddie's Fun Community Conversations. I hope you enjoyed our summer break. We were very busy planning for this next upcoming year, and I'm so excited to share that I'm Sheila Kukan. I'll be your host for the year, along with my bestie, Ziba, back here. And we are going to have rotating co-hosts throughout the year. Our first co-host is the amazing Mary Ipolitti-Smith from the executive leadership team here at Maddie's Fund. And if you didn't catch our last call of the last season, Mary did a really great send-off for the summer, sharing some great books for us to read and also just kind of the history and intention behind community conversations. So I thought it'd make sense, Mary, if we start this one by saying, what do you love about this series? What's your favorite thing about community conversations?
Thanks, Sheila, and welcome everyone. I'm so glad to see so many of you coming back, and hopefully we'll start to see some new people as well. I think the thing I love most about community conversations is the way it inspires me to do things differently. And one of the things I wanted to share with you all is that the last session that we had with Dr. Jyoti Robertson, she gave us sort of a 12-point prescription for living. So I know it's also posted in the forum, but I thought I'd just do a really quick run through of what those 12 things are to set the tone for this coming year. So 1, begin with intention. 2, develop rituals. 3, do things slowly and deliberately. 4, do one thing at a time. Okay, for all of us who think we're masters of the multitasker, this is a good lesson. 5, let go of the unnecessary. 6, listen to others, to yourself, to your body. 7, let daily tasks become mindful practice. 8, smile softly, walk lightly. 9, pause and create space. 10, honor time for what's important. 11, sit in stillness. Oof. And 12, live simply. Simplify to amplify. So those things are listed on our forum. Thank you to Dr. Robertson for just reminding us that we can really live lives that are healthy for ourselves and the people around us. If we're healthy, then we're going to be able to do even more work. So thank you all for being here today with all of us. Sheila.
Thank you, Mary. That's a really beautiful reminder. And I know something that is a goal of ours this year is to really cultivate this community, both here on these calls and also on Maddie's Pet Forum. So it's so great to have these resources and reminders and keep each other accountable as well with these 12 steps. So I do wanted to share for everyone, we have a question of the day to get us started in the chat. Please tell us about a collaborative partnership you established, whether with a colleague or a neighbor, that enabled you to reach a goal. And while you're all dropping those answers in the chat, I'll hand it over to my colleague Kelly for our grant giveaway winners.
Hey, thanks, Sheila. Hey, everyone. I am Kelly Clarity. I'm the grants manager here at Maddie's Fund, and I am so excited to get to announce our grant winners from June. Like, how fun on our first call back from the summer. So let me share my screen. All right, and Mary or Sheila, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see this? Awesome. So we're gonna go into presenter mode. All right, so our weekly community conversations. We have 4 winners from June of $2,500 each. So if you do the math, you'll see that we're now giving away up to $10,000 a month. So that is so exciting. And as a reminder, every time you watch live or on demand, you can enter to win. So let's see who our winners are. We've got Katie Andresen of Humane Society of the Tennessee Valley. We've got Lauren Avon of Weird Rescue. We've got Sebastian Bull of Cowboy Cat Ranch and Kristen Streeter of Leia's Hope Canine Rescue. And now for the Maddie's Pet Forum monthly giveaway, $3,000. That winner is Melinda Trueblood Stimson of Ludar Animal Behavior. And we've got a Maddie's Pet Forum quarterly giveaway too of $1,000. And that is Rose Signa of Mount Pleasant Animal Shelter. And there's just one more, Maddie's Pet Forum 30th anniversary cuddly prize pack giveaway to Yenny Rivas of Sugarland Animal Services. So congratulations, everyone. So excited for you. And if any of our June winners are on the call and want to unmute and say hi real quick, please do so. Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm with the Humane Society of the Tennessee Valley. So we help service 55 other partner shelters here in the East Tennessee. So this is definitely very helpful so we can say yes to some more animals. So thank you guys. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you for everything you do, Katie.
Thank you.
And I heard somebody else.
Yeah, hi. My name is Sebastian, founder of Cowboy Cat Ranch. We are a nonprofit organization mostly focused on promoting environmental enrichment for cats and doing ethical, so being like, animal friendly scientific research to learn more about cats. And yeah, I still remember the moment where I received the email and I just couldn't believe it. So I immediately called Amber to verify, and I was so excited. And we only became an 501c3 nonprofit organization last year. So we're very new, and it's just absolutely delightful to get this support from Maddie's Fund. It comes at a great time, and also, all the trainings that are available on the website have been of great help. So I can't thank you all enough.
Oh, well, thank you, Sebastian, and keep up the great work.
Hi, this is Mel. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Hi, this is Mel from Ludar Animal Behavior Lab for short. So we are an organization and a community-based movement focused on decolonizing, decapitalizing animal welfare whilst harmonizing modern science with lived experiences. We're Indigenous founded and centered. So as you can imagine right now, the United States, it's not too popular to be Indigenous. So this comes at a really good time for us as well.
No, thanks for coming on and saying hello, and thanks so much for everything you're doing. Really appreciate it.
And hi, Kelly. This is Amy. I'm with Dogs Matter. For anybody that is unfamiliar with Dogs Matter, we provide temporary foster care for pets, both dogs and cats, that need fostering while their owners go into treatment for addiction. So we foster for anywhere for 30 to 90 days typically is kind of our sweet spot that we try for. We also have a program right now that we've been launching and having a lot of success with, where we will pay for somebody's insurance for them to go to a treatment facility that takes their dog with them. And then so a lot of times from unhoused to within 4 months, they're employed and being able to live on their own with their dog. So if you basically anything with pets and addiction, please give us a call. We are happy to be a resource to figure things out. That's what we're good figure outers.
Awesome.
And we love Maddie's Fund. So thank you so much. We love the relationship, and I'm excited to have the time now on my calendar to get back into these meetings.
Cool.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, well, I'll kick this back over to Sheila and Mary. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kelly, and congratulations to all the winners. And I wanted to share one thing that's new this upcoming year is for national updates, we are going to be sharing them in the chat. We also encourage folks to share them on the discussion thread on Maddie's Pet Forum, which we have every week. So please go ahead and add any national updates in the chat. And while you do so, I'd like to welcome my colleague, Kate, for one last announcement here from Maddie's Fund.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to see so many of you. Just hopping on. Since the beginning of August, we wanted to remind folks on the call that over on Maddie's Pet Forum, we have the 30th anniversary engagement prize giveaway. And we have an update. You will now have 2 months to participate in that giveaway to win a prize of $1,000 that your organization can use on whatever things you might need most. Maybe you have a wish list or something like that. And we are going to drop that link to Maddie's Pet Forum, the giveaway, in the chat. So thank you.
Thanks, Kate. All right. Well, Sheila, I'm just going to jump in. So thanks to everyone. Congratulations to our winners. We're really excited to be starting back to seeing you all. Mary Flores, I just have to give you a shout out because I love seeing you. Thank you so much. All right, today we have an amazing presentation by Kris Watson and Jessica Lopez. They're joining us on a presentation about how public and private partnerships expand access to care. Kris Watson is a seasoned animal welfare professional with almost 20 years of industry experience. Since August of 2020, she's served as the Director of Animal Services for the City of San Bernardino. Kris holds a BS in anthropology for UC Riverside and an MPA from the University of La Verne. She loves being able to serve the needs of the community by helping both people and animals. When not at work, Kris enjoys beach trips with her husband and family and can be found reading or painting in her spare time under the ever watchful eyes of her own 3 dogs and 2 cats. Jessica Lopez is the executive director of the Paw Mission, a nonprofit organization dedicated to reducing shelter euthanasia through community-centered programs, accessible veterinary care, and innovative adoption efforts. With a deep understanding of underserved communities and a strong belief in listening to, not speaking over residents, Jessica has built programs that are responsive, sustainable, and rooted in trust. Drawing from her own life experiences as a working mom and community advocate, Jessica has focused her work on eliminating barriers to care and uplifting grassroots leaders. She's spoken nationally on topics such as municipal collaboration, team recruitment and retention, and building impactful community events. Her leadership has helped expand the Paw Mission's reach, including the development of a 5-acre sanctuary, 2 mobile units, and a brick-and-mortar veterinary clinic. Jessica's passion lies in creating programs that meet people where they are, because when we support families, we save animals too. Please join me in welcoming Kris and Jessica.
Thank you, Mary and Sheila. We're happy to be here with all of you today for the presentation. I believe Mary has the presentation ready to be queued up. I'm Kris, the director, and Jessica.
Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Take it away.
So today, as mentioned, we're going to be talking about how municipalities and nonprofits, how we make it work. And this is from our actual partnership for the Paw Mission with the City of San Bernardino Animal Services. We have been Paw Mission partly started to help this area specifically, and San Bernardino City was one of our first municipalities that we partnered with. We've seen so much growth with that's municipal shelter as Kris has been there. So I'm really excited to go over how it happens and how we can work with each other.
All right. So, so those of you who work in municipalities know that there are certain constraints. And it's really important when you're working with a nonprofit and you're starting on that road to really communicate, almost over communicate with them. What are your goals? What are your shared goals? What kind of constraints do you have? For us as a municipality, obviously, we have to have contracts and insurance, other things. So depending on the type of partnership and what we're doing, there may be a contract required. What are the needs of the community? Here in San Bernardino County, our veterinary accessibility score is really, really low. It's 38 out of 100. When I first came here in 2020 from another area of Southern California, I was shocked at the lack of vet care, specifically low cost. There was one low cost clinic in the area, and it was booked out months for this entire region. So it definitely impacts, our ability to serve the needs of the community. It means that we see a lot of animals in here that are unaltered. We see a lot of parvo and distemper in the area because of that lack of accessibility. And then as you enter the partnership, making sure that you have that ongoing communication and talk about what is working, what needs to be tweaked so that you guys are staying on the same page. For the municipality, it's really important that you know what your requirements are from your city or your county or whatever that municipality is. So making sure that you're reaching out to your finance department or contracts department to see if there's a specific contract that's required. What is the insurance that the nonprofit or your partner is going to need to make sure they have? Is there a way to get a waiver? All of those things you want to make sure that you're finding out ahead of time before you get into the partnership. And then additionally, who needs to approve the contract and or partnership? So for example, for our city, if the contract is $50,000 or below, I'm able to approve it. Anything between $50,000 and $100,000, the city manager has to approve, and anything beyond that amount, it has to go to our mayor and city council for approval, which means that we have to get a staff report ready to get it agendized and onto the public meeting. And then I think one of the most exciting things, I know Jessica, when we first started the partnership, she was pulling animals from us, and we were going to events together. And then when she got the mobile units, because we don't have a regular staff vet here at the shelter, we have per diem vets that come through. And at the time, we had none. We had none of that. We had a private contract with a private veterinarian in the city. And so when Jessica got her mobile unit and talked about what she was planning, I was really excited about the opportunity to have her on site, serving the community with spay-neuter resources, and as well as helping us with some of the animals at the shelter. But we met and we talked about, shared spaces. We talked about our staff needs and her staff needs. Is there a restroom accessible? Where are we going to put the mobile unit so that it's easy to access for both teams? Making sure that your staff and team know that this group is coming on and they are part of the wider team, and making sure that they feel welcome, and staff has that ability to collaborate with them and knows who's going to be on campus. And then once you do get into the partnership, making sure that you're sharing the successes with the city leadership. Things don't happen in a vacuum, so making sure if you do have a commission or a committee that you have to report back to, talk about what's going on, talk about the successes, talk about the numbers of animals or people that are being assisted through the partnership. Making sure that you're regularly communicating that information to the mayor, to the CEO of the county, whatever you have as your governing body, making sure that you're highlighting those successes and sharing that out on social media as well. I know Jessica and I try to cross tag and cross promote each other when we're doing an event. And I know Jessica has started working with the county as well, and they do the same thing. And then getting together to evaluate the shared impact. What are the community needs? Is there a gap where you guys can collaborate and do additional things together? We were able to do a back to school event with Jessica and her team a couple of weeks ago to offer microchips, and she was offering back to school packages for the kids. So there's more intersectionality in our communities than just looking at the animals, because we've got, you know, the people and the kids and everybody else who may need help can benefit from our partnership. And then again, just making sure that you're giving credit where credit is due, and highlighting the work that both parts of the team are doing to make the partnership successful.
And on the nonprofit side, for us, we are still a small nonprofit. So we have our board, and then I'm the executive director. So, you know, most of the decisions are pretty easy to make on when we create these partnerships. And somebody brought up in the forum other partnerships. So I did want to mention that this is just one way that other nonprofits can work with the municipalities. There are friends of groups, there's pet pantries, there's shelter intervention like the rescue train out in Van Nuys, Dogs Playing for Life, which goes throughout the country, and they work on sheltered dog socialization and working them through and enrichment. So this is just one way that my particular organization is able to help. So a few things that I thought off the top of my head. As a nonprofit, many of us are really tight with money. That's our goal, is to make things accessible and affordable for a lot of families. So one of the financial considerations that I just want to let people remember is sometimes municipalities do have a longer net of time that they're going to pay. Most people, for your public, they're going to be paying same day. For larger organizations, municipalities, sometimes it's net 60. One of our partners is net 90. So putting that into perspective as far as your cash flow is really important, especially if you're a smaller nonprofit, because sometimes that money is really important to your everyday kind of operations. One of the things that I struggled with at the beginning, because most of my background has been in veterinary medicine and nonprofit management, never accounting. And so accounting protocols are really important on our end. How are we making sure that we're accounting for any kind of revenue as a veterinary organization that is strictly for our nonprofit, just to kind of like, what are we doing and making sure that we're handling money correctly? Things that maybe sometimes nonprofits who don't get cash on the same day really think about. Operational considerations, make sure that your scope of work does align. And, you know, we are a nonprofit animal well-being organization that focuses on decreasing shelter euthanasia. So it was really easy for us to come into the shelter, and we were first doing rescues, so we were pulling animals from their shelter. And when we switched into a veterinary organization, our alignment didn't really change. We're now saving animals through this shelter two different ways. But making sure that you are aligning with them and you're sticking to what you guys are really good at to help support the municipality. And I would say one of the other things is, as a nonprofit, we don't work like a municipality, obviously, but for them, they have a lot of different people who are in charge of many different things. And in the nonprofit, I wear one hat, and or I should say, I wear many hats, and they all go on my head. So I forget often that sometimes I don't need to talk to just Kris. I need to talk to Jasmine, or I need to talk to Susie. And I laughed about it last time that we have a group text message, and it's like 19 people, and I was like, oh my Lord, that's a lot of and usually for nonprofits, it's you come to Jessica and you ask me, and I could give you a definitive answer. So making sure that you're aware that it's not just one person. Your point of contact is going to change based on day, based on what you're asking about. So I think that's really important. And also chain of command. I see a lot of people, especially Facebook, the keyboard warriors out there that are really upset that the municipality can't do something immediately because municipalities have a chain of command, just like your organization does, they do, and it doesn't work as quickly as your chain of command does. They can't text their city manager, and there's like all these different laws about how city council members can talk to each other. So make sure that you are aware of how your municipality even gets to decisions. Don't go there with these expectations. You're going to get answers same day. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. Like Christine said, 50,000 or under, she can kind of make that decision as far as contracts. But for most bigger things, there is a change of command that you have to be aware of. Insurance needs. For us, we did have, when we started partnering with municipalities, instead of $1 million aggregate for our nonprofit, we actually had to do $2 million. And that increased also what coverage we needed for our mobile units. So all of that kind of changed, and it was part of, it wasn't SBC, it was another municipal contract that we have that they just needed more coverage for the insurance. And so making sure that that is also part of when you're looking at how you're pricing things out or how you're kind of getting to the nitty-gritty as far as numbers, making sure that that's part of your thought process. And then I put public relations because I think that's really important. As most people on this call know, shelters have a very bad rep, and it is really unfounded most of the time. And I would say that I refuse to put any kind of negative PR out there with our partnerships, even if mistakes happen, which they're going to. I am not going on Facebook or Instagram and complaining about the shelter. We're talking about it, we're trying to fix it, and it usually does resolve. But making sure that we're supporting our partners in the PR realm as best as possible. You will never see any kind of negative posts about shelters in general on our Instagram or Facebook, but you'll also never see any kind of like passive aggressive comments, anything that can be misconstrued. I am 100% behind all of our partners, and if I didn't believe wholeheartedly in them, then we probably would not be partners. And I absolutely get behind all of our partners. I think that they do the best that they can. I've posted some posts because we get to work behind scenes with the shelters about them bottle feeding puppies in the middle of the day when they should be taking their lunch. They have little puppies and they're over there bottle feeding as they're taking their lunch, and they don't need to. And those are things that, the public doesn't really get to see. And I want to make sure that as a nonprofit, that we're supporting them and uplifting them as best as that we can.
And then daily operation, I know we overlap on this. Yeah, so the communication, like Jessica said, we have a really big text group, but then, if there's something going on, we'll text each other directly, and we're able to help in other situations outside of what we're doing. I think last week we had a case where we got in a pretty sick baby goat and at the shelter, and we didn't have the right type of antibiotics. And I reached out to Jessica saying, hey, do you happen to have, she did. And so we were able to get the baby goat all taken care of and squared away. And he's very happy now. But making sure that you guys are collaborating and communicating back and forth, and looking at, what you're doing on a daily basis to be effective.
I'll do what ifs.
Okay.
That's my favorite. So I am a total what ifs person. If you know me, I've probably said something like just in case. And that is part of, just being in charge of programs in general. We want to make sure that we are communicating with our municipal partner and making sure that we're doing everything we can to prevent any, snafus or anything that happens. Like Christine was great. when we first started using our mobile unit, I didn't know how to use a generator, and I didn't understand. Now I understand. But when I first started, I didn't know, and our generator died, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And luckily, we had extension cords, and Christine, we were like throwing extension cords everywhere. And it worked. We just needed to get through surgery. And so, making sure that you're prepared, not just for like little what ifs, but like big what ifs. Like, what if something we weren't able to open up our pop out for our surgery suite? And figuring out, if not backup plans, just how are we going to present this together where neither one of us look bad? And that's hard. But making sure that you guys are as a team and you guys are representing each other in the most positive light possible, I think I cannot emphasize that more, because it is really easy for, especially municipal shelters, um, for a nonprofit to accidentally say like, oh, we messed up, such a pain in the butt, and then everyone's like, it's the shelter. It was the shelter. And it's so easy for that to happen. So making sure that you're prepared, your team's prepared, and you guys can problem solve together is, I think, really important as well.
Yeah, and that leads into the next one where, you have to talk about the sucky parts. You can't just sweep everything under the rug when there are challenges. One of the first challenges we came into was, because we didn't have a regular vet, we do send animals out on a foster to adopt basis. And then Jessica was coming in to do surgeries. We were trying to schedule the surgeries, and Jessica started to see a lot of no-shows, right? So, so we kind of talked that out together to say, how can we make sure people are coming in? And we switched the way that we were doing it, so that our adopters had to make appointments directly with Jessica and put a deposit. So they had some skin in the game to make sure that they would show up for their appointment.
And then anticipate and eliminate possible issues. I touched on it on the what ifs. I probably put it in there just in case you didn't understand the emphasis that I have on this. But really, anticipating issues is not just like if something happens, but also what are those keyboard warriors that I mentioned are going to say. Even though we started providing these services into San Bernardino City, oftentimes we were doing a lot of free events. There was still complaining that we weren't doing nearly enough. Never mind that there was never a veterinarian there before, but what we were doing was not sufficient enough. And so, I went to the PAW Commission for Animal Services, and I went to go and speak, and making sure that you're trying to get ahead of things as much as possible by talking to each other and making sure you know who your complainers are, because everybody has one, and I know who Kris's complainers are, so that way when I see them, I know what's possibly going to happen. But keeping talking and making sure you guys are ahead of any possible issues.
Social media, definitely cross post and cross share. And again, making sure you're highlighting the partnership and the benefit to the community, and that you both are working together to help people and pets, or your whatever you're doing to support the community.
And then check-ins, I don't think I think we've emphasized it enough that we talk a lot, but check-ins with everybody and being like, hey, how's it going? And it could be as quickly as me taking the laundry over to the laundry area for the shelter. And as Kris is walking to go see an animal, I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's the day going? Any issues that you've seen? And just making sure you're staying ahead of it, talk to people, and make sure you also send. And I was trying to make sure that if I saw one of her team members being, going above and beyond, I was like, hey, I really loved Corey. I do love Corey. I think he's great. And he always was super helpful whenever we were there. He's just like, how else can I help you get this day along? And so making sure that, we are, celebrating the individual team members too, and not just the positives as a whole.
And that's it. So we are open to any questions the community has about the partnership. I will say that this community in particular, like most of those across the U.S., there's a lot of need in our communities. I know the shelter's doing a pet food pantry. Jessica has been really good about setting up food, making sure that spay neuter is more accessible, and vet care, just because those are the biggest areas of need right now in our area.
So I have a question. This was a great presentation and a wonderful how-to. But how did you both come up with the idea that a collaboration, a partnership needed to be such a dynamic, equitable relationship?
I think that, both of us, Jessica and I, kind of like what else can we do? What else can we do? Where's that gap? What can we do to help the community? And I know when she just started talking about expanding, I was really excited about it because that's what this community needs. We have another partnership with another nonprofit that does diversion, but really looking at, first it was cats and barn cats because there wasn't TNR in this area when Jessica first started. And so there's just kind of a lot of natural growth and progression that happens when you are looking at, how do we expand and fill the gap? And Jessica has been great at looking at exactly what this community needed. And I think her experience in this industry, being out in LA and seeing all of the programs and stuff that are in that market that are not out here, how can she start filling some of those gaps in that we may not be able to do? And that partnership with her has been it's been great for us and has helped us grow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would say, like it comes very naturally, but as a nonprofit, sometimes I would say municipalities, and I've been very fortunate, everybody that I've approached has been very interested in working with us. Sorry, I was reading one of the
I
questions.
know, I see that
I was
question
like,
too for Jessica. Why don't we go to that question before you, because I
Yes.
think the way you answer it. So the question is, how did Paw Mission initially approach the county for assistance? And what type of assistance did you ask for? Thanks, Anne, for that question.
Yes, thank you. So we have municipal partnerships with three municipalities, or four. We just had another one, but each time when we approached them, I think the only one I approached directly was Christine, and that was because we had already been partners with rescue. But when we started talking with the county and with the other municipalities, it was really focused on what we know that we're able to provide and how this is going to help them. So for nonprofits, think about like your one pagers that you're going to be giving to funders. This is what I'm giving to municipalities. Like, especially like the larger county, San Bernardino County. We are the largest county in the United States. So they have a lot of people that they need to service. And so when you talk about what your impact is going to be, take what you've already done and then, put it into writing and into words. I like tables. Put it in there. Like, this contract for $150,000 for the year is going to service 7,000 animals. And that 7,000 animals is going to impact this way. I think it is easy to hear the word no and then to give up. And I would say with the county, there's been new leadership changes in the last little bit. And Nadia from UC Davis at California for All Animals has made a huge impact in the county and working with them. But a few years ago, this partnership would not have happened. And so as leaders change and as perspective changes, because they're going to change, because people are going to realize that you will not be able to only adopt out everybody and keep your shelter intake low. You need to do something as a shelter diversion. And once the counties and the municipalities start realizing that, they're going to be looking for partnerships for people that can get it done. And not just, I want to, this is show me. And I think, that's the hardest part, I think, with municipalities in general, is as much as you say it nicely and like write up something, they really need to see proof that you're going to be able to do it. What is your system? What is your structure? How are you going to do this for us? And if you haven't done it, tell me what essentially give me your business plan in one page, and let's see if we can make this partnership. And maybe not go for the big 100,000 contract. Maybe let me do this once a quarter and let me show you the impact that we can make.
So just a quick follow-up question. We don't currently have a relationship with our municipalities or the county. So like, do you have a suggestion on how to first like reach out and find a contact
Yeah.
and how to start the conversation?
Yeah, I would say on my end, I would reach out to your actual like shelter. And I'm not sure, what your organization does, but reaching out to your shelter and start initiating, like, just kind of like the same with grants. You want to make sure that you're creating that initial partnership.
I am from the shelter, so
So who are you? Oh, you're looking for a nonprofit?
I'm looking for how to partner with the county or a municipality to kind of start that collaboration in some way.
So you're a nonprofit shelter and you're looking
Yes.
to, okay,
Yes.
does your local municipality just do animal control, or do they also have a shelter?
We don't even do animal control. There's no shelter, and no, I don't think they do any sort of animal control.
So, I think most of it depends on where the animal services kind of lies in the relationship. I know sometimes it's in the healthcare agency, sometimes it's under the police department. You can start by reaching out to, depending on what area you're in, there's usually an assigned supervisor or an elected official. I would start there. If you don't have somebody identified, you can always reach out to elected officials and they'll be able to connect you with the person who's in the administration portion of the municipality to get you connected to start talking. From the municipal perspective, there's so much that we want to do as a municipality, but a lot of times our hands are tied, right? We don't have enough funding. Sometimes there are some constraints, like, I know for us, we're not able to help people with fostering their own animals out. So, what services can you help them with? Where's that identified need? And just, I guess, just reach out and say, hey, we want to help. We want to see what we can do to partner with you to benefit the community. Just taking that first step and connecting with somebody and letting them know that you're there, it helps.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Pleasure.
We have some really interesting questions coming in the chat. I think people are just very interested in how you built this partnership. So I'll share one question from Emily Wood. They said, your partnership is so amazing. How do you navigate the other players in your community who may have different approaches to partnership? And has your team up led others to follow your example for more productive and mutually supportive partnering?
So, Jessica has been great. I know I've been people are asking because she really is the only one out here who's doing what she does, right? So that the need in this community for low cost vet care she's essentially it, right? So she said she's contracting with 4 different municipalities. I have sent people over to her, let her know hey, I think this city is looking to partner with you or is looking for some assistance. And we do have some other groups out here that are doing different things. So one of our other partners that I know we both work with and overlap with is our diversion partner, our diversion nonprofit, the Lang Foundation. And so we do have some overlap there. And I know that we're trying to work on collaboration between the 3 of us on a spay neuter or big event for the community as well. So I think most of the people in this area, most of the nonprofits, and we do have some people that are have a very different opinion of how things could go, but they don't have a nonprofit. They're just they're background noise. And so the people that are willing to step up and help, they are doing that, right? And so I think that's the thing to kind of identify who wants to help. Like Jessica said, where do our priorities and where do our goals overlap, and how can we effectively work together to benefit the community? I don't know if Jessica has anything else on that.
Jessica, you're muted.
Sorry. I would say that very much exactly what Kris said. Actually, the only thing I would change is Paw Mission was started by me back in 2017. We were the only Latina-led organization in San Bernardino County. And that is something very important to say because rescue predominantly is usually older white women that are doing the rescuing and having those organizations. So we met a ridiculous amount of resistance when we first started. I wasn't doing enough. I was too open. I was letting poor people adopt animals. Every complaint, we received it. So at one point, maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I just stopped looking on Facebook. Whether that's the best thing or worst thing, I don't care. I refuse to listen to them. And the only people that I want to talk to are people that align with what I believe and what my organization represents. If you don't, then we're probably not partners, and we probably won't be partners until there's like an epiphany for them, because what they were doing obviously was not working. Because we in San Bernardino County, there's nothing has changed in the last little bit. Like I've been watching San Bernardino County for the last 10 years as far as shelter intake, diversion programs. Nothing was working, but yet they were some of the loudest voices. And so I just stopped listening to those voices. And as you know, maybe that's really wrong, but I can't. I cannot afford to listen to people who aren't really making a difference when we see that our programs are making differences. And a lot of it is because we're not here to judge people. We're here to work within the community. And if community members decide from other organizations are like, hey, I like what you're doing, how can we help? Absolutely, we are there. But if you're going to complain about us on social media or whatever, do it on your own time. I'm not on Facebook very much anymore, so that was a little bit easier.
Well, I applaud you for setting that boundary. I think it's very healthy that you're not going to give that any more weight than it needs to. But there is a question for you, Jessica. How are you doing this work with less than 50,000 revenue?
That's a lot of fun. Actually, I was thinking about that. I was talking to ChatGPT about everything, and ChatGPT really, I have issues seeing, like, I'm always thinking about the next thing. What are we going to do next? And whatever we're doing is not quite enough. So I was actually looking at that, and these municipal partnerships help subsidize my mission. So it is important for me to have these partnerships and make sure that they work well. And, we're offering this service to the community. And most of our partnerships, the municipalities are paying us to come in, and not just like Christine and I did her animals too, but some days we were just parked there. We weren't doing anything for them per se. But those contracts really help me focus on also providing low-cost spay and neuter in our area. Without those contracts, it would make it extremely difficult. We bring in from our municipalities roughly between 20 to 35,000 a year, or sorry, a month, specifically just for our events that we do with them. And that's huge. My, outside of veterinarian salaries, our costs are really low. We have low overhead because again, many hats. We pay our team roughly about 50,000 a year, a month. So it's not, as long as we're able to kind of make up for it, and then our low cost spay and neuter, we're still able to make ends meet. But part of that, is really analyzing what are you doing on a day-to-day scale? What are your prices? What are you able to offer your community? And still, even with us charging families, we charge $75 for a cat neuter, $85 for a cat spay. Our female dogs are between 105 and the biggest female would be 185. And then 125 to 185 for the girls and 105 to 165 for boys. And those are easily between $50 to $300 less expensive than veterinarians in our area. So we're working on it. We're trying to expand and make sure that our mobile units get used to the full capacity. And all this is, I still do not have a full-time veterinarian. And so once I do, life-changing, I'm going to be able to do a lot more.
So early on, we asked the question about people's, what kind of collaboration have they experienced? And I just want to highlight some of the answers that I loved. Shannon, that you talked about sort of this, reciprocity, that you had space and equipment and the other organization had staff and vet. So I love when we think about what do we have, what do we need, and who else might be able to fill it. April, you basically gave us a nice little lesson in not giving up when you wanted to collaborate with groups, but no one would collaborate with you. And it wasn't because they weren't interested. It's just sometimes people need more evidence. If you ask them to do something, you're asking them to trust them, and that takes time. You got one NGO on board, and that one NGO led to the 14. So that was just a beautiful story of how you build that cooperation and trust. I really appreciate that. I think we are at time. And Christine and Jessica, I want to thank you for just sharing, helping us kind of look behind the curtain and see the magic that you both have created in San Bernardino County. We really appreciate and so love the fact that you were able to kick off our new community conversations season. Thank you both. I hope you come back at some other point and we can find out more great things that you both are doing.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
This was such a nice lesson, and I think hope that is much needed right now. So I'm so grateful you're both here. And obviously I'm biased because my dog is from San Bernardino. So thank you for your incredible work that you continue to do. We are at time, but just wanted to wrap up a few bits for our wonderful audience. Thank you for being here today. We do have a reflection question for you all that we'd love for you to go respond to in the chat. The question is, what is one thing you will bring back to your organization to improve access to care in your communities? So we'll share that in the thread. We'll also share any unanswered questions. Thank you so much to Mary for co-hosting with me for this first call. Thank you, Allison, for your production help behind the scenes. Thank you to our incredible speakers. I do want to share, if anyone is interested on co-hosting with me, please definitely check out the thread in Maddie's Pet Forum and let me know. This is a great opportunity to just get out there and, practice public speaking or whatever you're interested in. We would love your feedback this season as well for speakers, who you want to hear from, what topics you'd like to learn about. So there is a suggestions thread that Allison just dropped in the chat. Please go ahead and engage there. And our next conversation next week is with Claudia Vasquez, Community Engagement Director for Arizona Animal Welfare League. And our next co-host will be Elsa Ramos from Oakland Animal Services. So lots of exciting stuff in store. Thank you all so much. Can't wait to be on this journey with you this year.
Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Allison, Christine, and Jessica. Thank you again.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.